Hello friends, this is Atul Patrikar with Say Patrikar. So today we got one requirement. So I will show you that requirement. So you can see here is requirement like create one SSRS transaction history report for user. We have new requirement to create an SSRS report for transaction detail including running total calculation based on transaction type like credit and debit with other fields. So this report should be in table format including these fields like id, remarks, transaction date, credit amount, debit amount, total balance and etc. Okay, so we need this report as soon as possible. We appreciated that your previous work that you already done. Thanks business. Okay, so now before starting that work, I will show you one thing. So now just type in Google SSRS report builder download. So currently we use this SSRS report version for our current scenario. So you can see this is the Microsoft official website. So you can download here like Microsoft report builder and you can download that SSRS report tool from here. Okay, so now so before starting these all things, we need to just analyze is what objects, what things we need required for complete this report. So the first thing is we need to check that store procedure or query that we have, or if we don't have that store procedure or query, so we need to rewrite the query or we need to create the store procedure. So just I'm checking that. So this report is related to the transaction history, so it's related to that our S-Bank database. Okay, now go to database, SQL Bank, now programmability, now store procedure. Okay, so we need to check the transaction procedure. Okay, you can see here we already have that proc transaction here. So we already written some logic like running total calculation like credit minus debit equal to balance. So you can see we have one flag transaction. So we already done this by using that function. We have created one table valued function for that. And you can see the other things like the columns. Okay, so now I'm going to open that SSRS report builder. So this is the latest version of Microsoft report builder. So now you can see you can create that table or matrix wizard, report, chart wizard, report, mat wizard and blank report. So now in our case we need to use that blank report only. Okay, now you can see just this settings like Word. I think you already see that Word document file. We have that type of settings in Word documents like border, font size, margin, right, left, bullets number, all that things. Okay, so now I am expanding this. So this is by default execution time. So when we run that report, so it's capturing that current date and time, execution time here. Okay, so now in title, just we need to, it's related to like transaction history report. Okay, transaction history report in bold format, and we can change that font as well. Calibri. Okay, so now you can see here that business need this report in table format. Okay, so or we need to include we need to insert that table. Click or just right click on this section, go to insert menu and click on table. Okay, so you can see again I will show you. You can see that table is generated here Okay, so we have that table, but we don't have any parameter or data source and data set. So before creating before inserting this table, okay, before inserting this table, we need to include that data source. In that means we need the connection string. Okay, so I'm typing my data source name like s bank 7. Okay, and there is two option: use a shared connection or report model, or use connection embedded in report. So in our case we use that Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so now click on that build button. If once you click on build button, so this pop-up will come. Just enter your server name and enter that SQL Server authentication, or you go with the Windows authentication, but in our case we go with that SQL Server authentication. Okay, now in this drop down, connect to a database, select or enter a database name. You need to select that our database like SBank. Okay, once you say configure this all things, now click on test connection. We need to check that our connection is proper or not. Okay, now click on OK button. You can see our data source is created. Now we require that some SQL queries or SQL store procedure. So for that we need to create one data set under our data source. Okay, so our data set name is like transaction history, and same we use a database data set embedded in report. Now go to this data source. Now select our data source name. You can see in left side panel, report data panel, you can see that we already have configured that SBank 7 database data source. So now we already created one store procedure to calculate all that things in SQL. So we go with that store procedure. So it might be ask you that username and password. So just enter that username and password here. Click on OK. So now you can see there is one drop down, select or enter store procedure name. Click on that drop down and you can find your store procedure, which store procedure you want to include in this report. Okay, so in our case we use that proc transaction. Okay, proc transaction, and click on OK button. Now you can see here we already generated that transaction history. We already use these columns in that transaction history procedure. You can see we have that ID, we have debit amount, credit amount, balance, then transaction type, then transaction date. You can also see that rupees and varchar 8377, it generating like R symbol, like rupees symbol, T type, remarks. Okay, so we created all that calculation logic under that one function. So I will also show you that function. Okay, now go to programmability, now go to functions, now go to table valued function. You can see fn get transaction. You can see fn get transaction, click on modify. Okay, so we already built that calculation logic here. All that things calculated in this function. We use some common table expression things here to optimize our functions performance. Okay, so now I'm going to that report. Okay, so in now you can see in left side there is some parameters generated, TRID, CID, TR amount. So in our case we required only the CID and flag, but other parameters we don't require. So you can delete this parameter, or you can just go to that parameter properties and select allow null values. Okay, now go to TR amount. So we need to check these things like allow null value. We don't require that things, so that's the reason we just set allow null value properties here. So we have different options to do these all things in one click, but I will show you one by one. remarks, MTR ID and balance. Okay, balance, allow null value. Okay, so now we required these columns. So you can see there is one column icon. Click on that column icon and select that ID. So if you you can change that ID name also. So in our case I'm going to pass that transaction ID, transaction remarks. Okay, transaction type, then credited amount, debited amount, balance and transaction date. Transaction date. Okay, so like for transaction date and other things we already use some formats like date formats. We already handle that in that store procedure level. So you can see here we already use these format things in the store procedure level. So you can also use some formatting from here, from that SSRS report, but we already done that things in SQL Server side. So don't need to just add some extra formatting. So now remarks, we require these remarks. Transaction type like CRDR, we use this TR type. For credit amount we use credit amount. For debit amount we use debit amount. For balance we use balance column, and transaction date we use this trend date. Okay, now just click on Control S button and now just save this report. Transaction history, click on save button. Okay, now you can see there is left side there is one button, run button, or you can also click on that run button, or there is shortcut F5, so you can run using that F5 button. You can see we don't require that other columns, we required only CID and flag. Okay, so the customer ID is 2 and flag is trend. Now click on view report. Now it's connecting to our SQL Server database and fetching the all data from that SQL Server. So now you can see the deposit opening balance. So I have created this account on the 14th February. So on that time I have just deposit 67,000. After that my wife sending me 500 rupees. So you can see 67,500 rupees here. Now again I received 560 rupees. So you can see 68,060 rupees. Again my friend Vinod sending me 5 lakh rupees. So again the 5 lakh rupees including in my balance. So you can see 5 lakh 68,060 rupees. So all running total balance, credit amount and debit amount history is there. So you can see that all things here. Okay, so or I received some cashback from Yes Bank. You can see cashback from Yes Bank 10 rupees, and that Shiva voucher also send. I sent that 2,500 to Shiva voucher. So you can see that 2,500 is minus from my account balance. Okay, so now our report is created. So I will also show you that we use this report in S Bank application. So now I'm going to open my S Bank application. So currently I'm using that free version, somi.com free version. So we don't have any SSL certificate or TLS certificate. So that's the reason it's showing like connection is not secure. You can see here. Now click on advanced. Okay, you can see that landing page of Yes Bank, that all information is mentioned here. Okay, now log in and create account. Patrikar gmail.com, password, and customer type is customer. Click on sign in button. Okay. In left side you can see there is menu SSRS report. Click on that SSRS report and click on transaction report. Okay, now you can see we already have that report, so that all transaction details and all that things here. So you can download this report in this format, like Excel format, PDF and Word format. Okay, that all that things mentioned in this report, like bank statement. Okay, so we already done our requirement. Okay, so we need to send this report to the business, so business can validate, and once the business provide the confirmation, then we can move this report in the production. Okay, so we will meet on next video. So thanks.